All right, gang. This episode's gonna be about bait. And it's about loading the bait. It's about bait barge etiquette. It's about how you act when you get to the bait barge. Because what you have to remember is that bait, every time you look in that bait tank, you're gonna see the guy on the bait barge's face. So it's gonna be super important to make sure you treat the bait barge attendant proper. So when you get to the bait barge, you always want to follow the simple directions, what they're asking you to do. Make sure you do not get onto the bait barge itself. They do not need anybody crawling on the bait barge. If you think you can't get the boat up next to the barge, simply ask for a little help. But don't jump on the bait barge trying to stop your boat from crashing into the barge. Just be calm and mellow when you get there and talk to him like you would like to be talked to. Let him know that you're going out. You'd like to load the bait light. You're not in a hurry to put the bait on the boat. But here's the key when you go to the bait barge, guys. Do not go to the bait barge at 6 o'clock in the morning. Why? Because everybody else is there at 6 o'clock in the morning. If you're gonna go early, get there at 5. If you can't get up in time, get there at 7. If you do that simple thing, you'll never see a line. Because of the fact that everybody thinks you need to go fishing at 6 o'clock in the morning. That's also when the 3/4 day boats are going out. So the bait barge is going to be full of boats, 3/4 day boats, half day boats. Everybody's leaving at 6, and then here you come leaving at 6, and you wonder why there's a line. So don't leave at 6, leave at 5, leave at 7, or leave in the middle of the day. But when you get to the barge, figure out what side they want you to tie up on, pull up there nice and slow and mellow, and then when you get to the barge, simply treat the attendant with the utmost respect because he can make or break your day. And always remember, at the end of your bait barge experience, make sure, unless they didn't treat you proper, but they all should, there's only one guy on the coast I know that hates to sell bait, that sells bait for a living, and I think most of you know who that is. Other than that, all the attendants at the bait barges up and down the coast, they understand they're there to sell you bait, and that's what they want to do, and they're going to treat you the way you treat them. So we're going to pull up to the bait barge right now, and we're going to show you a little bit about what we're talking about. Okay, gang, if you look, this is the Dana Point Bait Barge. Now, most of the bait barges up and down the coast, they're either going to have an arrow or they're going to have a cone on the side that they want you to pull up on. So as you see, there's a cone over here on this side of the bait barge, the ocean side of the bait barge. So we're simply going to pull up alongside the bait barge. Now, if you don't see the attendant out there, you can simply call them on channel 11 on your VHF radio. Be polite. Call them just like this. Dana Point Bait Barge. Dana Point Bait Barge. This is the Wild and Sack. We'll wait for a response. They'll come back to you and they'll tell you they're open, and then they'll come out and help you get your bait. Today, there's no one here. So it's a free-for-all today. You can just take whatever you want. Jeff, true. How are you?
Good, how are you, sir?
Guys, make sure when you come here to the bait barge, you always treat the bait barge attendant proper. And at the end of your experience, make sure that you let him know how much you appreciate him. And the only way Jeff will know how much you appreciate him is by giving him that green stuff that you fold up and you put in your pocket. All right, gang, so what you watched us just do is load up 3 scoops of beautiful anchovies, and now we're gonna go up and show you what you do with them once you get to where you're going. But what I wanna tell you guys is, the reason why I like the anchovy and not the big giant sardine is because now I was able to put 3 scoops of bait in this bait tank. People ask me all the time, Dave, how much bait can I hold in my bait tank? Well, it all depends on the type of bait, it all depends on the shape of the bait, and it all depends on where you're going. You never want to overload your bait tank, even if the bait's super good. You want to just load it very lightly and watch the bait and see how it swims in your tank. Every day the bait is totally different than it was the day before, and also every boat's bait tank is totally different than the other boat. Like I always say, I'm on a different boat every day, and every single bait tank is different. Nobody's bait tank's the same. So you're gonna have to just check out the bait. You're gonna have to make the judgment call at the bait barge of how much bait you can actually put in your bait tank, because it's gonna be different than when you were there yesterday. The quality of the bait, the temperature of the water, the distance you're going to have to run, all are going to be factors on how much bait you want to put in your bait tank.